listeners. This is your buddy, Herb the Wizard, and I'll be ready in just a minute. Just let me find it on the dial.
Help, Caesar, help! I'm coming, Beanie! I'm coming! DJ, you dirty guy! What the heck? Time to do my bad deeds for the day.
Well, there we go. This is it. Get ready. We're going to start the show. Well, hi there, everybody, and this is your pal, Herb the Wizard. And I'm here to welcome you to this, our 75th episode of the Grow with Grubby Cup Show. I'm awful glad you tuned in, and I hope you have a good time. So make sure that you're properly safe and all safety precautions are in place. And we're going to get ready and start the show here in just a minute. And now it's time to listen to a little bit of the wonderful and delightful Kelly Erickson, currently playing with Teaser.
They got some seeds to grow, he'll keep you in the know, variety to claim. So baby, what's his name? He's a man to know. He'll make your garden grow. Grubby Cup's his name. He's the man who'll make a change.
Hello there, gentle listeners. This is your roving bard, Leaf Malone, reporting on the Grow with Grubby Cup show, brought to you by DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. And here they are, the buds of the circle table. Oh, see, it is I, Sancho Panza. Good evening. I'm Alfred the Dungeon Keeper. Hi there, friends. This is the Irreverent Joe. And I'm Herb the Wizard. Psst, it's me, Vinny the Viper, the Sheriff of Riding Puck. And I am your host, the Green Knight, Grubby Cup Stash. Thank you for joining us here on the Grow with Grubby Cup show. Brought to you by the good folks over at DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. All right, to start off with, let's do upcoming events. On 7/26 in California at the Los Angeles Convention Center will be the Maximum Yield Indoor Garden Expo. It's another one of the Max Yield shows. This one's in LA. And if you are interested in attending this one, if you get a hold of me, I have some tickets. Or you can go to indoorgardenexpo.com for more information. If you haven't been to one of these before, it's the Maximum Yield Trade Show, and they do a vendor-only day, which is, an industry-only day, which is on Saturday. And then on Sunday, they open it up, and everybody can come in. Get a ticket and come in. And it's cool. You can see new products. You can ask questions at booths of products that you already use. And it's a chance to see industry folks you may not have seen for a while. Anyway, also there is The Urban Garden Center in Topsham is having their Customer Appreciation Day on 9/12. On 9/26 in California, the Soil King will be having their Tomato Fiesta. On 10/25 in Massachusetts at the Heinz Convention Center will be the Maxim Yield Indoor Garden Expo. And that's all the event announcements I have for this week. If you're a hydro shop and you have a Customer Appreciation Day or an event coming up, please let me know. You can contact me at grubbycup.com or care of this station. And if you know of a hydro shop that's having an event, same thing. Contact me, let me know. We will announce it on the air and let people know you've got an event coming up.
Well, hi there, everybody, and this is your boy, Herb the Wizard. Thanks a lot for tuning in. It is I, the Sheriff of Rhine Park. Stop! In the name of the King. Oh, gee, Wizard, it's the Sheriff. What do you want, Sheriff, sir? It has come to my attention that not all gentle listeners of the Grow with Grubby Cup show are currently properly safe, and as such should be attending an emergency safety meeting. Well, gee, Wizard, Mr. Sheriff, I think everybody knows that in order to listen to the Grow with Grubby Cup show for maximum enjoyment, everybody should attend a safety meeting and be properly safe and be properly prepared for, proper enjoyment. Well, they better be. I got my eye on them with phones and drones. Oh yeah, there's the King's men for you. And now I'm off to spread misery everywhere. Well, bye-bye, Mr. Joe, sir. Don't let the door hit you in the back on your way out, but, feel free to let it hit you in your head when you open it. Oh, see. Well, hey there, Sancho. It's good to see you. Are you ready for starting the show? Oh, see. I am feeling very safe, but short a couple legs. Maybe an elbow. Well, gee whiz, Sancho, I've noticed that since you got turned it into a cockroach, you go through a lot more limbs and stuff than you used to. Oh, see, but I think it is very nice.
Hello there, Mr. and Mrs. Jenna Reader and all the ships at sea. Now it's time for... The Grammy Cup is a portion of our program where we take questions from you, the general listeners, and read them here on air. Please keep in mind that that plant that shall not be named shall continue not to be named, so please don't include it in your letters. And here with me today is Sancho, my favorite squire.
Oh, Signor Grabby Cup, Signor Grabby, I have a letter for you.
All right, Sancho, what's it say?
The letter, she said, Dear Grabby Cup, I am in need of an expert who is good with the horticulture and is good with note keeping and can teach and can write and is honest and has all sorts of good qualities. And where could I find somebody like that? And the letter she is signed. Oh, who am I kidding? We just made this up so you could plug yourself.
And I've recently had an opening show up in my schedule, so if you would like to rent or lease yourself a Grubby Cup, please get a hold of me at grubbycup.com or at the Grubby Cup Facebook page. I travel well and inexpensively, and renting a Grubby Cup is probably cheaper than you think.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, just gotta lay it out there.
Just trying to hustle up enough to keep the bills paid around here.
Oh, Signor Grabby Cup, it is I, Sancho Panza.
and I have a letter for you.
All right, Sancho, go ahead. What's the letter say?
The letter, she say, dear Grubby Cub, I grew some heirloom tomatoes, and I really like them, and I would like to save the seeds. Is there anything special I should do?
Well, there's a little bit of a trick to it, but it's really not that difficult. If you have tomato seeds from an open pollinated or an heirloom tomato, that's a nice thing, because that means that the offspring will tend to be similar to the parents. One of the things about taking and saving seeds from a hybrid tomato is they tend to give very unexpected results. And we can talk about that difference another time. But if you have an open pollinated tomato and you want to save the seeds from it, or save the seeds from any tomato, pluck the tomato and cut it in half, and you want to scoop out the gooey insides along with the seeds, and you're going to put that into a cup with a couple of tablespoons of water and cover that with plastic wrap with a couple of holes in it, and you're going to allow that to sit out for a couple of 3 days. Every day, give it a good stir. And what will happen is that the goo in that will rise to the top, and the seeds will fall to the bottom, and it goes through a process that helps prepare the seeds and helps protect them. Basically, you're kind of simulating a tomato sitting on the ground and starting to decompose a little bit, or at least the very beginnings of that process. After 3 days or so, scoop off the scum and collect the seeds, let them dry out, and they should be ready to start the following season. Please support the Grow with Grubby Cub show by telling your friends, sharing us on Facebook, and spreading the word. And don't forget to pick up your copy of Grubby Cub's Garden Notes, available at Amazon.com and in fine hydroponic stores nationwide.
You Grubby Cub, I have a letter for you.
Oh, hey, Alfred. What's it say?
It reads, Dear Grubby Cub, I wish to put plants in my backyard, but I don't know what spots are most appropriate. How can I tell where to put the plants?
Well, things like access to water and, what ground you have to work with, what the terrain is like, are factors. But the most important thing is how many hours of sunlight the area gets in a day.
Yes, I have friends who pay close attention to hours of sunlight and how to avoid them.
Well, you may have friends that avoid sunlight, but plants need it to grow. In general, the plants are categorized in how many hours of direct sunlight they need. So if an area gets 6 hours or more of direct sunlight, it's considered to be full sun.
For sun-loving plants, I imagine.
If an area gets between 3 and 6 hours, then that's considered to be partial sun or partial shade. And anything that gets less than 3 hours of sunlight is considered to be in the shade. And that's all the time we have for letters this week. Thank you for writing in, and please keep them coming.
And now for a few words from our sponsors.
The Grow with Grubby Cub show is brought to you in part by
Home and Hydro in Warwick, Rhode Island. If you happen to be in the Rhode Island area, you're in luck. Home and Hydro is just started a soil compost return pile. So if you have used potting soil in that, you can take it over to Home and Hydro and they will get rid of it for you. It won't wind up in a landfill, and it'll, get rid of your soil once you've used it and you don't want it anymore. And if you're getting rid of soil, you might want to pick up some soil. Home and Hydro in Warwick, Rhode Island carries Grubby Cup's potting mix. So if you're looking for a place to get rid of your old soil and a place to pick up some new soil, stop off at Home and Hydro in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Brought to you in part by dihydrogen oxide. Remember, used in moderation, as overexposure may lead to frequent urination, drowning, or death. Although once you get to the drowning part, I would assume that you don't care so much about the death part. Well, you probably care a whole lot at first, but then probably not so much. Also brought to you by Big Bob's Bait Shop. We've got everything you need to make your worm wiggle.
You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on dfzradio.com.
We're listening to DFZ Radio.
Botanicare is proud to introduce a revolutionary 3-part nutrient system that is the culmination of over 15 years of research and development. The Kind Plant Nutrient System. Designed by leading plant physiologists, this is the most versatile, effective, yet easy-to-use plant nutrient system ever created. It all starts with Kind Base. Kind Base contains nitrogen and calcium, but no trace minerals, magnesium, or sulfur. By placing those nutrients in the Grow and Bloom formulas, you have greater control over how your plants grow in your medium of choice. Using coco coir or RO water, just add more base to increase calcium levels. Growing in clay pebbles or rock wool, then just reduce the amount of base to ensure the proper calcium level. It's that easy. Kind Grow contains trace minerals and a proprietary blend of all natural ingredients to help maximize root growth, reduce internodal spacing, and create a lush canopy. Kind Bloom was formulated with the optimum phosphorus to potassium ratio. Your plants will have healthy branch and stalk development, accelerated flower set, and increased yields. Kind Bloom also contains magnesium to help improve photosynthetic efficiency, which is critical in accelerated growth environments. To put it more simply, Botanicare's Kind Nutrient System is the only nutrient system that is fully customizable to your kind of plants and medium. Botanicare Kind Base, Grow, and Bloom. Fully customizable. Any plant, any medium. For more information, go to Botanicare.com. Botanicare Kind. Make it your kind.
You're listening to DFZRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on the DFZ Radio Network at dfzradio.com.
Psst, psst. Hey, you. Yeah, you listening to the radio there. Come here a minute. Come here. Because I'm gonna tell you how to score some good stuff there for your garden, see? Some stuff for your compost pile there. See, it's a little known secret that you go to one of these coffee places where they sell a lot of that overpriced coffee kind of thing. Well, if you're real nice to them, then sometimes they'll give you the coffee grounds. Now, coffee grounds can be very nice if you want to add them to your compost pile, Because for one thing, they've been boiled, so they're relatively sterile. And two, when they break down, they supply a lot of nitrogen, see? And plants like nitrogen, so nitrogen's a good thing to have some in your compost pile there. So, sometime when you're running around, see, you could, you make a little swing into one of these coffee places and, come out with a couple of bags of goodies. And, usually to them it's trash, so, they're often pretty good about just handing it over and, not hassling you or anything. So, give that some thought and, maybe see where you can, score you some coffee grounds so you can, put them in your compost pile. And, now let's get back to the show. This has been your friend, Vinny the Viper, and, giving you a tip on, how to score some stuff, because, never know when that comes in handy. Just once you got your coffee grounds in the bag there, don't hang on to it too long before you start spreading that around, because, you don't want it to get old and moldy, because that wouldn't be good. And now let's get back to the show.
Hello, gentle listeners and all the ships at sea. This is your wandering bard, Leaf Malone, and now it's time for Meals and Munchies. Well, gee wizard, your grubby cup, I'm feeling kind of hungry. So what are we making today?
Well, today I thought I'd talk about a very easy, very simple, but very tasty concoction.
Well, what's it called, Grubby Cup?
Perfect peach pudding pie.
Well, it's very difficult to make, Grubby Cup, because I gotta admit, I just had some nice magical potion, and it was really, really nice magical potion. It was tasty, and it was yummy, and it feels good on my tummy. And now, I don't know if I'm up for anything that's too complicated, so I hope this is one of your really easy recipes.
Oh, it is. This is definitely one of those minimal effort for maximum result type things.
Well, let's get started. What do we need to get?
Get a pre-made shortbread or graham cracker pie crust. I like the shortbread pie crusts better, but they're harder to find. And the graham cracker ones work, but if you can find the shortbread ones, go with those. The ones in the baking section that are already pre-made. And some vanilla pudding, and then some either fresh or canned peaches.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby Cup, I already looked at my crystal ball, and I saw we were going to need that stuff, so I have that stuff ready for everything right here.
Okay, now take the shortbread or graham cracker pie crust.
All right, I got it right here.
And put the peaches in the pie crusts, slice them and, if need be, and set them in the pie crust.
All right, Grubby, I have a can of peaches right here. Just let me open it up. And then I'm going to drain out the juice. And it's all over my hands. All right. And then I'm going to put the peaches in the pie crust. I could do that.
Okay, and then mix up the vanilla pudding according to the directions on the box.
All right, Grubby, just give me a minute. I'll do that. Oh, let's see. We get the bowl, and then we have a little magical potion. Oh, and then we put the powder in, and then we put the milk in, and then we have your magical potion. Oh, and then we mix it up real good, and then we have your magical potion. Oh, and then we do whatever else it says in the box, but we stop right before the part where you put it in your refrigerator.
All right, and then easily enough, just pour the pudding onto the peaches that are inside the pie crust and put it in the refrigerator to let it set.
All right, Grubby, but patience isn't my long suit, so Gimbals, fast forwarders! Alright, it's later now. Oh, look, it's ready to eat. It's all firmed up and it looks nice and tasty.
It is. I think it's right up there with taking a block of cream cheese and dumping a can of salsa on it. It's just very tasty for a minimal amount of effort.
Well, yeah, Grubby, it squishes in my mouth, and it's really nice, and it has nice flavor to it, and look, it squishes between my fingers, too. Oh, that's very squishy. With the little pieces, it's squishy, and I like it, and it tastes good, and I'll lick my fingers and enjoy it. It's cool.
Herb, didn't your mother ever teach you not to play with your food?
Well, yeah, Grubby, but then I saw a 3-year-old really having a good time, and I figured out that he was right and she was wrong. It's squishy, and it tastes good, and it feels good in my mouth, and it feels good in my tummy.
Okay, I gotta admit, it does look like more fun your way.
Besides that, you should see the way Alfred plays with his food.
No. I don't think I want to see that.
All I know is he and Madame Pompadour sure go to a lot of pomegranates. And crookneck squashes, and carrots, and cucumbers, and apparently some melons, and I don't know what all else, but they go through a lot of produce.
And that's all the time we have this week for Meals and Munchies.
And now for something I hope you really enjoy.
I'd like to take just a couple minutes and talk a little bit about xylem and phloem. These are the two main vascular systems in a plant, at least in vascular plants. And the xylem is what raises water. It's how the plant takes up the water. And it's an odd phenomenon the way that it works. There are small holes in the bottoms of the leaves. They're all over the plant, but primarily on the bottoms of the leaves. And these small holes are known as stomas, and they have what are known as guard cells that swell and contract to open and close. And what's interesting is that it uses a couple of laws of physics and unusual properties of water, but basically there is a chain of water molecules from that opening all the way down to the roots, and as the water molecules evaporate off, that chain will move up a notch and draw in water from below. Now, some of this water along the way gets diverted for plant growth, but the vast majority of it, 90% of it or so, basically goes into the bottom of the plant and gets pulled up and comes out the holes on the bottoms of the leaves. Now, that's the xylem, and that one only goes one way. And then there's the phloem, and the phloem is the more sapy type system, and that's how the plant moves the organic bits in that around inside the plant. And it works on a different principle, and it uses osmosis more, but that's the system that then allows the plant to move around sugars and nutrients, etc., so that they can get to where they need to go, or what's known as a sink.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby. That sounds like it'd be handy to know even just a little bit about the xylem and the phloem, and that's how the plant moves the stuff around on the inside.
There are two really important systems in a plant, because keep in mind, this is the veins and arteries of the plant, so to speak. And every cell within the plant is going to be within a few cells of these two systems so that they can be supplied with what they need, and they can, supply resources to be moved around.
Well, gee whiz, Grubby, I don't know if that's terribly interesting or terribly boring or a little of each. But anyway, thank you for sharing, I think.
And now, a brief message from the La Mancha Safety Council.
Okay, man. So, if you cook something on the stove because you're hungry, then don't go and do something else
and leave it on the stove while it's cooking, because then you could forget it's cooking and then you could burn it. So if you're going to cook something on the stove, then don't forget it, because then it could burn your food and it'll bum you out. So take this. Oh, yeah, and it could start a fire too, man. This has been a message from the La Mancha Safety Council.
Just a general reminder, there's still advertising spots open on the Grow with Grubby Cup show. If you have a hydroponic shop, a product, or just randomly want to plug something, contact the good folks over at dfzradio.com and reserve yourself spot or spots. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show on dfzradio.com.
We're listening to DFCRadio.com.
Well, hey there, everybody, and this is your pal, the Wizard, and I'm here to remind you that the Heavy Tea Grow Show is on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The Beer 30 Show is on Mondays at 5:30. On Tuesdays, it's a twofer. You get a Girl in a Garden at 5 p.m. and Grow with Grubby Cup Show at 6. Make sure to tune in to DFZ Radio for all your bizarre, weird, and odd programming.
DFZRadio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and that it was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man. I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
You're listening to DFZRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash, and you're listening to us on DFZRadio.com.
And now it's time for Buds of the Circle Table. Oh, Senor Grubby Cup. Senor Grubby.
Oh, hey, Sancho, what is it?
Well, I was in the village, and they said that you still really don't like lawns.
Oh, certainly. With the drought in California and the water weirdness going on in Detroit and that, people are getting really weird about water, and I think it's more important than ever not to have a field out front of your house that doesn't have an animal in it and doesn't produce anything useful. And again, I'm not talking about people that actually use their lawn and the kids play on the lawn and that, but there are a large number of Americans where the only thing they do with their lawn is water it and cut it. And that's just, that's that's investing in resources that gives you a little bit of aesthetic appeal just to, because you've always done it that way. I think that a nice flower garden out front, if you're that interested in aesthetics, would be a much better use of the land. And it would also give pollinators such as bees an opportunity to feed in the wild.
Oh, see. So cut down the grass and do something useful with it.
At the very least, consider landscaping with plants that are native to the area, which has a side benefit of plants that are native to an area tend to do well in that area.
Fresh. And now it's time for your moment of meditation.
Take a deep breath. Close your eyes.
Well, gee, Grubby, not if they're in the car or something. If they're listening to the show in the car, they wouldn't want to close their eyes. That would be a bad thing. You shouldn't close your eyes while you're driving.
Take a deep breath.
Oh, I can take a really, really deep breath. Look, watch this. Watch this, Grubby. Hey, Grubby, I got a really, really, really big breath.
And exhale.
Wow, Grubby, that made me a little dizzy.
And in with the good air.
Already? Well, alrighty.
And out with the bad air.
Well, I already took care of that.
Let the worries of the day drift away and just relax.
Oh, yeah, I got you covered there, Mr. Grubby Cup, sir. I'm so relaxed.
And this has been this week's Moment of Meditation.
Oh, Grubby Cop. Oh, hey, Alfred. What do you want? I have something I'd like to show you. Look at this. Oh, it's your indoor garden tent. Yes. I do believe that it is an Uno tent, and I must say I've been very pleased with it. Yeah, the Uno tents appear to be very nice little tents. This one's a 4x4. It has, along the front, a fully zippered front door. Each of the two sides have access panels that'll open up, and they're big enough that you could lean into. Along the top, it's got a vent for opening for a fan. It also has another in the back. It has two on each side. It's got two more along the bottom. It's got 3 passive vents you can open. It's pretty sturdy. I wouldn't jump up and down on it by any stretch of the imagination, but as far as these types of tents go, it's a decently sturdy construction. And that's one thing you want to watch for, because some of the really cheap tents are just not well put together at all. And it's really not worth it to get a bottom of the line tent. The really top of the line tents are really, really nice, but they're also really, really expensive. So take a look at your budget and plan accordingly. One nice thing about the tents is that they are pretty much a small self-contained room. Just keep in mind that your ventilation's going to make noise. You're going to have a ballast to deal with, and your fans in that So even though the tent itself is relatively, small and discreet and all that, the activity, the stuff going in and out of it is going to make a noticeable bit of noise, that sort of thing. So let's see what kind of plants we've got going on in here. We've got some nice tomato plants. We've got some nice catnip. Looks like some sort of a tree started. A couple of things that you want to keep in mind is that one thing that's really nice about the tent is it gives you a reasonably small confined space that you're trying to do your temperature and your humidity adjustments for. Now, on the other hand, the downside of it is that you're trying to do an environment in a small space, and the smaller the space, the less buffering it has because it has less mass, so the more radical changes can occur. Things go south, they can go south relatively quickly. The two main things on your environment that you really want to take a look at, one is heat. If you've got several hundred watts of light in a small area, it's going to generate a certain amount of heat. If you don't get rid of the heat, then the heat will continue to build up until it's too hot for the plants. And that would be a bad thing. So if your tent is generating excess heat, you've got to have some way to get that heat out of the tent. And one of the easiest ways to do that is with a fan. And you can do that a variety of ways, all of which pretty much amount to taking the hottest air in the tent and pulling it out of the tent or pushing it out of the tent, depending on which side you put the fan on.
I see. So if things get a bit too hot, you need to cool it a little.
That's right, Alfred. Now, the two main ways of getting that hot air out of your tent, depending on what type of hood you have, if you don't have an enclosed hood, then you're probably going to want to vent out from the top of the tent because the heat's going to rise, and that's the air that you're trying to get rid of if you're trying to get rid of excess heat. If you do have an enclosed hood, what you can do is you can run a fan which blows through tubing to one side of the hood fixture and then out the other side and out the other side of the tent. And the nice thing about this is that the hottest air is right around the bulb, and by using this type of closed system, you bring in cooler air from inside, you blow it across the bulb to carry the hot air out the other side and out the tent. And this makes for a very efficient way to remove the heat. But keep in mind, if you go too far with that, you can hinder the performance of the bulb by cooling the bulb off too much. The bulbs are intended to be run in a relatively warm to hot environment, so you don't want to chill them off too much. Another issue that you're gonna want to take a look at, and this has to do with both heat and humidity, is you need some sort of circulation inside the tent. So that way, if you have moisture pockets, if you have moisture on the leaves, what have you, they can evaporate off. And this is facilitated by blowing a fan across it.
Oh, yes. Like sweat on skin. If you blow across it, you will feel a chilling sensation, and the moisture will evaporate.
Yeah, that would be one way to say that. One thing that you go on and watch for is for moisture collecting on the walls and the sides of the tent, or on the top of the tent, because that's quite often an indication that your humidity is way too high. What the level of humidity measures is how much moisture is in the air. If the air is so saturated that it is not evaporating droplets of water, then your humidity is too high and you run the risk of running into molds, that sort of thing.
Ew. Molds and mildews are nasty things, and they can kill your plants.
Yeah. And that's not a good thing, because we want happy, friendly, not soggy, not moldy, not mildewy plants.
So what should we do to reduce humidity if things are getting a little too wet?
Well, one thing that you can do is, as long as you're not venting CO2 from a tank or something at the moment, is you can bring in drier air from the outside and blow that across, and that will reduce the humidity if you are able to bring in drier air. Other alternatives are, there are devices that you can get and plug in and set in your room that are dehumidifiers, and they will collect water out of the air. And that's an alternative.
Ew, I see. Well, thank you, Grubby Cop. I do hope you have a pleasant holiday season. The Grow with Grubby Cup show is brought to you by
Enso Guitars in Hope Valley, Rhode Island. I've had the good fortune to meet with the gentleman at Enso Guitar, and let me tell you, the cat's a real artist.
Also brought to you by,
if you happen to be in the Rhode Island, New England area, stop off at Grow With Us Hydroponics, Home and Hydro, or Three Guys Hydroponics, all of which are very fine stores in the Rhode Island area, all of which are carrying Grubby Cup's potting mix. If you are in New York, make sure to stop off at Harvest Moon Hydroponics in Buffalo and in Rochester. You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on DFZradio.com.
You're listening to DFZradio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Non-Specific Hydro.
Yeah, hey, I have a buddy of mine that was telling me about a great additive.
Okay, do you remember the name?
Yeah, his name's Steve. He's a good buddy.
No, the product.
No, he told me it was a super concentrated organic enhancer. Comes in a yellow bottle.
Well, it sounds like he's talking about Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics.
I don't think that was the name, but he also told me it was a vegan bioplant stimulator that contained vitamins, plant sugars, amino acids, seaweed extract.
Yeah, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
I don't think that's it, man. He told me it was something like Dora Vicious Flush or something, and he said it was like an organic supplement that could also be used in vegging or flowering, and that it was compatible with hydro soil and cocoa.
Yes, that would be General Hydroponics Floralicious Plus.
Oh, hey, man. I just remembered what it's called. It's Floralicious Plus.
Oh, good. I was drawing a blank.
Floralicious Plus from General Hydroponics. Ask for it by name.
We're listening to DFZradio.com.
You're listening to the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I'm your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You're listening to us on DFZ Radio at DFZradio.com.
Hi there, friends. This is the Irreverend Job, and I have a message for you. I have a message for you in the front. I have a message for you in the back, and I have a message for you that like to hide yourself in the middle of the pack. And for those of you that have it good this year, then you appreciate your blessings. And for those of you that don't have it so good this year, I want to extend a very special, heartfelt message that I know sometimes it's rough, and I know sometimes the world can be a very cold, very cruel, and a very greedy place to be. But don't let them win. Don't let those forces of meanness win. They'll try. And I know sometimes, especially some of you that's feeling a mite lonely, what other folks have that you don't. Now, maybe it's that other folks has got health, or maybe it's because other folks has got wealth, or maybe it's because other folks got folks. And not only that, I want to apologize. I want to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that this here world ain't as nice as it ought to be. I'm sorry that we as a society reward the people who need it the least. We reward the greedy, we reward the cruel, the mean, the pushy, those that hoard resources, and those without the common decency to have empathy for anyone but themselves. And I want to apologize to each and every person that's got it rough, because if there were more agents of niceness and not as many agents of meanness, then there'd be a little bit more people being nice and understanding and being supportive and helpful, and not so much this thing where we kick the people that are already down and we're only nice to the people that don't need any more help. Now, I know some of you are cold. Some of you are feeling cold whether you got a place indoors to sleep or not. And I know some of you are hungry. I know some of you are hungry whether you got food or not. And I know this world, there are people out there that are just mean. And there are people out there that are cruel, and there are people out there that are greedy. And I know that sometimes the world just keeps kicking, but don't let them win. You're right, and they're wrong. It's right to have empathy for other people. It's right to see the pain and the suffering in this world and feel bad about it, 'cause it sucks. And I can't promise you things are gonna get better in a time soon. But I can tell you that if enough people start having empathy for each other, start taking a moment to see how things are from the other person's shoes, then we'd be a whole lot closer to fixing that. Now, I know what some of you are saying. I know some of you are saying, but Irreverend Job, I'm not an asshole, and assholes keep kicking me even though I'm down. And I say, I know, and I'm sorry. I apologize on behalf of the human race, 'cause let's face it, we got more than our fair share of shitheads. We have people in authority that we put in authority to protect us, and now we're scared of them. And we put other people in charge of money for us, and they ain't doing such a good job of getting us value for what. And we got people that just like to be mean 'cause let's face it, they're just a little stupid and they don't know no better. We got us some other folks. And we said to these folks, why don't you figure out how we could be good people and tell us how to do that? And that was their job, and sometimes they don't do right by that, and folks show up to say, how can we be better people? And they say stuff about hate and intolerance and being mean to people and just generally being assholes. And I hate to say it, but for a lot of folks, they've screwed up that whole thing into where people are afraid to try to find out how to be a better person and how to do right by others, and, you know, how to be an agent of goodness and not an agent of meanness, and they get all confused and they get scared and they get hurt, and the next thing you know, they're being an agent of meanness just because they don't know no better and they don't feel they got any choice in the matter. Hopefully a few words of support for those of us who ain't having such a good year. This has been the Irreverend Job, and I'm just trying to remind everybody that whenever possible, don't be an asshole. And that's almost all the time we have for this week. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Grow with Grubby Cup show. I've been your host, Grubby Cup Stash. You've been listening to us on the DFZ Radio at dfzradio.com. And until next week, peace, love, and puka shells.
We got some seeds to grow. He'll keep you in the know. Variety to claim. So baby, what's his name? He's a man to know. He'll make your garden grow. Grubby Cup's his name. He's the man who make a change.
Oh, wow, you listen to the whole show, and you even listen to a very own theme song, and I just want to say thank you for listening in or getting too safe to change the channel or whatever happened. Bye-bye!
You're listening to DFZRadio.com.